Hey everyone, it's Andy here up top to just let everyone know about ExpressVPN. I will cut to the chase because I know you don't like long ads any more than I do, but I just wanted to highlight a couple cool things about ExpressVPN that I like to use it for. One, no more dancing around it. Everyone's torrenting files. You can use this to do that. You don't even have to pretend to be in a different country, you can pretend to be in a different city, and it will block your IP address so that your ISP cannot find that you're doing what you're doing. Wink. Another thing that I use it for is watching Netflix, watching Hulu, watching whatever, streaming services there are in countries that aren't my own. So if you would like to do that, see what's streaming on French Netflix, on British Hulu, whatever, you can use ExpressVPN to do that. So a VPN basically just blocks all of your private data from anyone who would come snooping around for it. And to keep this shorter, I'm just going to let you know that you can go to expressvpn.com/inchaoswetrust. That was my old show, but the link still works. And you can get 3 months free on a 12-year deal. And even the 12-year deal is not that bad. It's pretty reasonable. So if you have any desire to be a little sneakier than you currently are on the internet, take this route. That's expressvpn.com/inchaoswetrust for 15 months when you pay for 12. Thanks, and let's get into the show.
We've got flags and banners, and if you mind your manners, we might even get to standards and what they represent. So just take my voice's hand and we'll both try to understand how this Vexilla Logic podcast could be flagged for content. Flagged for content.
What's up, all you Vex heads? Welcome to episode 3 of Flagged for Content. It's the only podcast where the host drinks the same beer every week. And trust me that it is getting flat. We have got a really special guest today. We'll get into that in a minute. I'm super excited for this one. But first, off the top, just some housekeeping. Wanted to let y'all know that I am coming out with a Patreon for this podcast. I don't have a whole lot to offer you right now other than ad-free episodes. So as you've noticed, you've been sitting through an ad up top and then one in the middle. If you want to subscribe to our Patreon for very cheap, I'm going to set it at like $2, I believe. That will just get you out of the ads. So that is an option moving forward. Another thing, like I said last week, I have been putting these on YouTube now. We don't have a huge following on there, but if you guys would, if you could go on there and subscribe, like the videos, everything like that. It's nothing too exciting, just a waveform audio file with our logo up top and that for now. But once I start getting a little bit more into the swing of things, I will also throw the flags in there because I know that flags are a visual medium and it would help anybody who has to watch or needs to watch or wants to watch that way. So yeah, go ahead and you'll have to search us for now. It's flagged for content, but once/if we get 100 followers, subscribers, whatever they call them, we will have a custom URL. So anything you can do on that front helps. Also, speaking of that, go out and rate us 5 stars, hopefully, but rate us honestly on iTunes, anything that has a star rating, and anywhere you can comment. Comment. Like if it's a 3-star show, how about rating me 5 stars and then just saying in the comment that it's a 3-star show? That would work for me. So anyway, those are just a couple favors you guys can do for me. And also, so I don't forget again, we do an Instagram competition every 2 weeks in between our episodes for who can name these flags. And they're generally flags from my collection. I may have to start just posting, JPEGs of flags at a certain point because I'm running low. Because I didn't plan for that. But this week, the winner, once again, as it was in week 1, is at Miserable Degenerate. So go give them a follow on Instagram. In addition to that, we reached 100 followers on Instagram. And our 100th follower, who I promised them I would shout out, is at World Info History. I've been looking at this site, or this account, rather, and they have got it's a new-ish account, but they've got a bunch on not just the flags, but little tidbits and facts about certain countries that I find pretty interesting. So go give them a follow as well. And I think that's it. So with no more ado, I am going to get to our guest today. Our guest today is someone very special. You know him from his podcast, Spooky Dice Bag. You know him from our ad last week, and also this week that will pop up in the middle. You know him from our Discord, and the What's It Called Discord if you're in there. And you know him for bringing on an early apocalypse via his work in Robotech. It's Kickassatron!
Hey, what's up, Andy?
Hey, man.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. You've come in with about the same energy that most of my guests have, which is, oh, hey, that was a lot. What's up?
Sorry, I'll do some cocaine next time.
No, yeah, next time.
Next time.
Actually, yeah, I did ask Ian last week what he was drinking. Maybe I should ask guests like what they're bumping, what they're sniffing, if anything. Are you enjoying a beverage while we record this or no?
Right now, no. It's still. I might have something with supper, but nothing yet. No.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, our last two did. You have not. I am rocking my usual Hutton & Smith Igneous IPA, like I have with the other two, just for good luck. But anyway, shall we get into the flag discussion?
Hell yeah, I love flag discussions.
Yeah, you and I have actually, and this is a little bit of a plug, I guess, but you and I have talked somewhat about flags before on my old show, In Chaos We Trust, where we went over a couple, not quite micronations, they're not that, but a couple unrecognized states and exclaves that have some close ties to what's going on in Ukraine. So if anyone wants to check that episode out, didn't mean to even really do this plug, but go to In Chaos We Trust, and the episode on Transnistria and Kaliningrad is that one. So yeah. Anyway, welcome to the show where we just talk about flags and don't have to dig through all the, well, I dig through the history so that you don't have to.
Oh, well, that's appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, right. It's pretty nice. All right, so I'm going to send you the flag that we were talking about today, but first I'm going to describe it as I have done to all my guests so that you may have a chance at guessing this one, actually. So this is the vexillological notes on this one. It is a blue field on which the cross of St. Andrew counterchanged with the cross of St. Patrick. Overall, the cross of St. George fimbriated.
Is that the Union Jack?
It is!
Yeah! Woohoo.
Nice, well done. What gave that one away? Just curious.
The cross of like St. Patrick and the cross of like, was it St. George?
Yep.
And
yep.
like I know St. George was England. I know St. Patrick killed all those Irish people. And I'm like, I guess St. Andrew's the Scottish one.
Yeah, I mean, way to give away like half the show. I think we're pretty much done at this point then.
I'm sorry. We can cut this.
Yeah, cut all
where's
that.
the Welsh dragon? Where? That's what I want.
Oh man, that is the question, right?
I want the Welsh dragon.
And that is actually a question that, I'm glad that you knew that, but I'm also a little sad that you knew that because I had a whole thing. No.
Oh no.
The more that my guests know about flags,
we can cut this, and I can just say I don't know who St. Patrick is.
It's good. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say it's credit to you being in the Flag for Content Discord where we talk so much about flags that you knew that like off the top of your head. Easy.
Yeah.
Yes, it is in fact the Union flag. There is a little bit of debate on whether it should be called the Union Jack, which we will go into a little bit.
Okay.
And I don't think I have to send this one to you on Discord, but just to set a precedent, I'm going to. So there's the image. That's
exactly what I was thinking.
Exactly the one that you said. So actually, you may be able to tell me a little bit of the history of this one if you know those saints and things. Do you know like kind of where this flag comes from?
I know it's sort of an amalgamation of like the different flags that like the 4 different national flags that make up the United Kingdom, but that's just about it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Other than the 4 different, because as you already pointed out, Wales is not represented here.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, it is. We'll go into why, and we'll go into we'll go into a lot today, but. Yeah, so first and foremost, what is the most, I guess, distinctive feature, the part of this flag that like stands out the most to you?
If any? I would say the red cross. Is that the Like just the big red one in the middle.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the answer I was guiding you towards.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that literally sits. So when I talk about the description of it, and it says at the end, overall, the cross of St. George fimbriated, that means that, over those other two crosses is the cross of St. George. Fimbriated just means that it's that little white outline that's around it.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so, yeah, first things first, I think it's good to go through this flag, because this flag is in itself kind of a history lesson, or at least it's the way that it was derived is. So we can kind of go through the history of the UK by going through the history of this flag, which I think is pretty cool, and not a lot of flags can say that, at least necessarily in order like this. So do you know anything about the flag of England? Just England?
Isn't that just it's a white field with the red St. George's cross?
Yeah, I don't think a vexillologist could have put it better.
Yeah, I just can't remember the side that the pole goes on.
Yeah, no, that is important because as you notice, the crosses that are like the saltiers that are in the background, the X one, they like go in a, like the white goes in like a clockwise direction, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah, and the red is only like half of it, and then they're both supposed to be fimbriated, but the effect that it kind of has is that the red looks smaller than the white, just because white fimbriated by white is just more white. But yeah, so exactly, yeah, the cross of St. George was the flag of England for a long time, and you seem like you know what that is, but I am going to copy and paste it in here for you anyway. And this is actually, I do own this flag. I know Nick was asking week 1 whether I owned any of the flags we were talking about that week, and I didn't. This one I do own because I have been there. And generally my thing is I buy a flag from every country I go to, and the reason I haven't bought a Union flag yet is because I haven't been to all the places. It's just me being pedantic to myself, basically, but...
I understand.
But yeah, so this is the English flag, and as you said, you already described it to the listeners, but yeah, just a white field, red cross on it,
and it's nice and centered on like the rectangle of the flag.
Exactly, symmetrical, unlike the episode 1s that we did that were like Norway, Iceland, Sweden, Denmark, all those.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this flag goes back a long way, well, longer than the others, I believe, and the only times that you see it nowadays are either when there's like a World Cup or like a major like football, soccer, tournament, championship going on with national teams.
Sure.
Or
makes sense.
When people are being super nationalistic.
Yes.
Yeah. So as you can imagine, like the football teams of the UK, like they all have their own, like Wales has a team, England, Scotland, Northern Ireland. I know Ireland's not part of the UK, but they have a team separate from the Northern Irish team. All these places have their own team. So a lot of times when you see the England flag nowadays, it is for that reason. Or I guess I should say you hope that it's for that reason.
Yeah. I seem to remember there was a there was something where they gave a bunch of white nationalists like a shirt with the England flag, and then as soon as it got wet, it turned to like a pride flag or something.
Oh my God, really? No, I don't think I saw that.
I'll send it to you after the recording. It's pretty funny.
It's like a color changing T-shirt that
it was like a color. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was for, but it was like a color changing T-shirt.
Although to be fair, I don't think it rains that often in England. So like, when are they going to get the chance?
No, it's a famously dry island.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe once a year or so.
Yeah.
Best of luck to them. Yeah. No, that is amazing. But yeah, I mean, as we said, that's the time outside of like football, that it comes up, or soccer, that it comes up, is by what we now call the alt-right, the far right, is the historical term for it. The British National Party, which was founded in 1982, always uses exclusively this one, which I think is funny because they're the British National Party, and Great Britain is the island that includes Scotland and Wales.
Yeah, 3 countries. It's I don't know.
But they love to wave their, I mean, I hate to call a flag racist because the flag didn't do anything wrong, but like, You know what I mean? They love to wave this one around, and it's got that connotation at this point. So
Yeah.
unfortunate as it may be. But yeah, I mean, this one's pretty simple, like you said, just white with a red cross on it, flag, or the cross of St. George, rather. And St. George is the patron saint of England, so it makes sense why they've got his flag on this, or his, sorry, I keep saying that, why they've got his cross on this flag.
Sure. Makes sense.
Yes, I don't know
Why do different, you know why different saints get like different crosses?
I don't actually know a ton about that, like why they all have different ones. I assume that it came about in the age of heraldry, which like when they were just kind of like giving, it's like not only every nation, but every like royal line needs some kind of crest. This needs some kind of that. So yeah, I think it just comes up during that, and I'm not sure why they specifically choose a red cross on a white background. That one has evaded me. Listeners, go look that up and join our Discord and let me know.
Yeah, lines are open. Let us know.
Exactly. All right. So yeah, you successfully pointed out the first, or kind of like the overarching feature of this one. Do you know anything about, well, let me just copy and paste this in here.
I am so sorry for ruining this.
No.
That looks like a penalty for like I want to say Indy cars.
Yes.
A penalty flag.
Yes, exactly.
It's like a caution, right?
Mm-hmm. And as Indy racing, as the Indianapolis 500 was getting really big in Great Britain, they wanted to bring on some elements of that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and secondarily, it also represented Scotland.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. That's the main thing.
That's the big one. Okay.
But how would you describe this flag to a listener that can't see it?
So it is a light blue field, kind of like almost a sky blue, not quite as dark as say the field in the American flag, and it's got a big white X across it diagonally.
Yep, that's exactly it. Do you know what the X is called? Other than
a big white X, the X of Scotland.
It's St. Andrew's Cross.
St. Andrew, okay.
Yeah, which we mentioned earlier.
Well, you would know that.
No, but you were. Yeah, exactly. As an Andrew myself, this one's always held a special place in my heart. No, but like as I said up top with the Union flag, there is the St. George's Cross, St. Patrick's Cross, which you picked out, and then you said, well, St. Andrew's Cross must be Scotland, and yeah, you're spot on.
I thought St. Andrew's Cross was the red one, the red X.
Oh. Nope, yeah. That one is St. Patrick's, and there's like an interesting few stories to go along with that one. Okay. The Scottish one, St. Andrew's Cross here, which is also called that X design on a flag anyway, is called a saltire. Saltire. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, anytime you see one of those on a flag, just know that's what it's called in, vexillologic terms, heraldry terms, etc. So yeah.
All right. My next vexillological convention, I'll let people know.
Oh, you're going to Navicon too? They have one down in St. Augustine this year.
Oh.
I am actually, yeah, totally, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely didn't just hear about that.
Right? I kind of wanted to go. St. Augustine's not super far from where I live, but it's like, I just couldn't swing it.
Yeah, I
got like the sponsor pack, which they send you, for like $25, they send you the flag of the convention, which they have like vexillologic experts coming up with these flags, so like they're not shabby. Like a pin, like all the like press stuff, or like all the like stuff that was handed out there. They send you like all this stuff for $25.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, I asked for it for my birthday, so I think I'm getting it. So we'll see, but yeah, in vexillology terms, it is called a blue field with a white saltire that extends to the corners of the flag. In blazon, azure, a saltire argent. So basically, that last part is it's not quite Latin, but the very, very vexillologic terms for what the first part said. Azure obviously means blue, argent in this case, well, normally meaning silver, in this case it means white. So, and yeah, I think like one of the things I read, not even while I was researching this, but while researching St. Andrew years and years ago, let me see if I can find it now. I'm on the call with you, but I believe he was actually martyred in this way, like on a saltire, like as in crosses weren't the only things, like the cross that we think of when we think of Christianity.
Yeah.
Weren't the only thing that they martyred people on, or well, killed people on. I think they also did it on what must have been I don't know if it's easier to construct or not.
I'm thinking of like the was it the flayed man from
Yes, from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, the flayed man, exactly.
I can't think of the proper terminology.
Yeah, at the Dreadfort, the Boltons.
Yeah.
I had to draw that one out of my own brain too. But yeah, so I don't know. I which one of these do you think is more interesting so far, or about the same?
Between the English or the Scottish?
Yeah.
I kind of like the Scottish blue better than just the white and red.
I think I do too.
The white and red it almost makes it look like the Red Cross or something, like you're a doctor.
Yeah, it's I mean, not that either one of them is particularly like detailed, but for some reason the red one is more boring to me.
Yeah, exactly. And I like blue better.
And I was going to say it may be... See, I actually like red. Like, red's my favorite color, but I still prefer the Scottish one on this because I think maybe it's just too much white in the background.
Yeah, it's kind of boring. It's just there.
Yeah, it seems like you had like a tablecloth, like a picnic cloth or something, and you were just like, oh shit, last minute, my kid's got a science project or a flag project that they have to take to school. Let me...
Flags due on Monday, damn it.
Yeah, flags due on Monday. Let me bleed out a little bit and just paint some of that in a cross pattern, and we'll call that a flag, I guess.
Yeah, that's good enough for a nation, right? We're not going to be that great.
Yeah.
we're not going to conquer the world or anything. What's that?
Exactly. Oh God, were they ever wrong? It's also interesting to note too that the blue of the Scottish flag is different than the blue of the UK. Like the Union flag that I sent you.
Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't know if that was just part of the like the picture that you happen to find on Google, or if that was intentional.
I mean, that is the one that I'm using Wikipedia for all of the images, not for all the information.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry.
Sure.
But for all the images, and I usually just use the picture at the top right, which generally speaking is the official one. And that's what it's got up there. It does have... I'll send you this one too. It does have that as well.
Okay, so that one...
And that blue is a lot closer.
It's a lot more... It's darker. It's closer to the Union Jack blue.
Yeah. And there's some flags that aren't as standardized, especially flags that aren't those of an official, standalone government like Scotland isn't right now, that aren't as standardized as ones for official governments. So yeah, I'm not really sure which one of those is more official. The only thing I have to go on is Wikipedia, and it's telling me that the lighter blue is official. I'm trying to remember
I feel like I've seen the lighter blue around at football hooligan crowds and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember if that tracks with my memory, and I think it does. It's definitely, in my memory, it's definitely a lighter blue than that, or than the UK flag. But
yeah.
All right, so we've gone through the Cross of St. George, Whitefield, red, normal cross, and the Cross of St. Andrew, Bluefield, white saltire. So that just leaves us with the flag of, the last one, right? Saint
Patrick.
There we go.
Right? Is it Pat? Yeah, Patrick. That asshole.
Objection, leading is what that would get in court probably, but yeah. So yeah, the Cross of St. Patrick, and it is the one that I have just sent you in our chat.
Okay, this maybe I'm just finding the Cross of St. George boring because it's 90-degree angles. Is this the Cross of St. Patrick's kind of cool on its own?
Yeah, how would you describe it to a listener?
It's a white field with a red saltire.
Nice.
Saltire?
Saltire. I-R-E at the
Saltire.
end.
Going all the way to the corners. Like a big red X.
Nice. You remember that from when I said it on the St. Andrews one.
Yes.
How it specifically states that it goes all the way to the corners and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Wikipedia doesn't have as good of vexillological like terms on this one. It just says a red saltire on a field of white. So yeah, if the listeners know, broadly speaking, what the Scottish flag looks like, it's that, but the background is white instead of blue, and the cross is red instead of white.
This one I don't think I've seen. I don't think I've ever really seen that one. Like the other two I've seen in various places, but
Yeah, this one doesn't get as much play necessarily, and there is a reason for that. So we're going to go into it. Also, before we go into it, I do want to say that this flag does look a lot like the flag of Alabama here in the U.S.
sure, yeah. Because Alabama's almost. It looks like Alabama's like a playoff of the
Confederate
Stars
battle
and
flag.
Bars Confederate battle flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's where. Yeah.
Yep. And it looks a lot like the flag of Florida as well, which I think is a similar flag, but has like the state seal in the middle or something like that.
Yeah.
So if listeners are like close enough to the internet to look up Florida and Alabama's flags, but don't feel like looking up St. Patrick's Saltire for whatever reason, you can figure it out.
You don't want the British government thinking you're trying to start anything in Ireland right now.
No. But yeah, so this one has a fairly interesting history because it's put on the Union Jack, like the Union flag that we've been talking about, as for when the Brits, I guess is a lack of a better word, because at that point they are the Brits. They've already conquered Scotland at this point, and they take over Ireland and administrate Ireland. And so they try and think of, okay, what's a way to incorporate that into our flag? And what they come upon is the coat of arms of the Fitzgerald dynasty that are big and one of the most important dynasties in Ireland at that time. Not that, I mean, for what they are and everything, it's Ireland at the time. It's still fairly remote, everything like that. But the Fitzgeralds have made a name of themselves, and they have this that I just sent you as their herald, as their standard.
It's like their coat of arms.
Their coat of
standard.
arms. Thank you. Yeah.
Sure.
Should know these words. I keep forgetting. And
Hey,
basically,
man, it's not a flag. It's fine.
right.
You're good.
And so what it is I'll describe it really quick, but it's basically the same thing as the St. Patrick's cross, rather. But on a, shield-shaped thing. It's just white background, red X. That's pretty much it. So they are a very powerful Irish dynasty at the time that has more or less made friends with the English. And making friends with the English was maybe not a moral or maybe not seen as like the thing to do by a lot of your friends and countrymen. But strategically, it was more or less the thing to do if you wanted to be anyone back in that time.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so, we can talk a lot about selling out, this, that, and the other, but the UK government, or well, actually the Great Britain government at that time, needs to add something to their flag after having taken over Ireland. And so they come to the Fitzgeralds and they say, we would like to use basically your crest, and we're going to call it St. Patrick's Saltire, and no one's going to question it ever, and we're going to throw it on the flag, and what's done is done. Is that good? And they probably said all this with guns pointing at them.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Just like, hey, do you want to convert to the British Empire?
Yeah, even when you're like in their favor, you're still not. Yeah.
No, yeah.
So yeah, this is St. Patrick's Saltire, and it still stirs a lot of feelings in Ireland, both in the Republic and in Northern Ireland, because this is seen as an English invention. It's not seen as anything historic or hereditarily like Irish or anything like that, other than maybe one specific clan. But the Anglos are like, well, this is good. This not only, are you guys kind of more or less compliant with us, the Fitzgeralds, but also this will fit nicely on the flag that we already have.
Sure.
And you'll see, yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, you'll see, like, the more we go into not just this episode, but like future ones as well, a lot of things on flags are done out of convenience. I mean, there are obviously a lot of things that are done very, very intentionally and for this reason or another. But when it comes to, I think especially when it comes time to change a flag, whether you've added a territory, lost a territory, whatever, a lot of these things are done out of just convenience because your flag is everywhere on every government building, you know, through, you know, Scotland.
In front of every nationalist's house.
In front of every well, yeah, they usually have just the St. George's English one probably, but yeah, and yeah, we'll see that come up again, the like cost factor when it comes to things like this. But I thought that was interesting that like this was never historically a sign of Ireland, but when they absorbed it, they were like, well, we want you to have representation on the flag, which, hey, super nice of you. Not too much representation because it is literally, you know, looking at the Union flag, it is the least represented one, especially given that the Scottish one is outlined in white and it's already white.
And they made the cross like thinner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they actually, that's an interesting point too, that this is now probably a good time to bring up, because they originally didn't have either of them fimbriated. And the fimbriated, remember, is like that, especially on the Union flag, the white that goes around George's cross, or the cross of St. George, that is just called a fimbriation. And originally, let me see if I can find the file even. Yeah, so originally they didn't have it fimbriated. I've just sent you a GIF on the... I say GIF. I hope nobody that's listening says GIF, but we'll see.
Oh, yeah, they're just going to be so pissed off at you for your mispronunciation.
Right? Terrible. But about the evolution of the flag. And so... Oh, actually, this doesn't take you through the unfimbriated bit. But at a certain point, it was not fimbriated, so that red would have gone straight toward the blue, and the white, you know, of St. Andrew's Cross would have done the same thing on the other kind of side of that saltier.
Sure.
But they decided, like, with all good flag designers, like, you need kind of borders somewhere, which is often why you fimbriate things in the first place. So they decided, all right, so we're going to fimbriate both. Obviously, one's already white, so it's not going to look like it is, but it is. And that's their kind of justification for that. Also, if you see during that last, like, I don't know if you're watching it move at the same rate as I am.
Yeah. There's like a red bar at the bottom.
Okay, so is it Scotland right now for you?
It just turned to like Scotland and England.
Okay, yeah, the red cross over top of the white X on the blue background, so that's Great Britain.
Yeah, Great Britain. Then they got the cross of St. Patrick, and they have like clockwise, fimbriation clockwise.
And then this last
step. Then it like changes and it's got like a red stripe on the bottom.
The red bar at the bottom should be viewed as nothingness. Like that would be like for if I were editing this in GIMP or Photoshop or something, that's like blank space.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, on this it shows up red, but like you can notice the important difference between the second to last version and the last version, right?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a
Imagine the bottom part isn't there. Basically what I'm getting at is they changed the ratio of the flag. Like the so Scotland, St. Patrick's Saltire of of Ireland, I guess, you know, technically it's Anglo-Irish and there's a lot to go into there, but Scotland, that flag, and the St. George's Cross flag are all at a 3-to-5 ratio, which is I'm not going to say like normal flag ratio because there isn't really a normal flag ratio.
Seems to be the standard.
But 3-to-5 is, I think, more used than most. And what they did at a certain point with the UK one was that they changed it to a 1-to-2 ratio, which means it's half as wide tall as it is long. And you can kind of think of the American flag in that sense. It's not quite a 1-to-2. I want to say it's 15-to-19, which is, or no, not 15-to-19, 10-to-19. It's something like that.
Something weird.
Okay, I just looked it up. It's 10-to-19. Yeah, not 15. So 10-to-19 is almost 10-to-20, which is 1-to-2. But it's not quite because the U.S. has to be exceptional, you know?
Of course.
In every way.
Of course. Why wouldn't we be?
But yeah, eventually they shrunk the Union Jack one, or like they shrunk it kind of like vertically on that axis or whatever, and made it a 1-to-2, which means it looks about like the American flag. It goes out way longer than it does stay on the hoist side.
As you step through the portal, roll perception.
That is a 7.
Nat 20.
Yeah, there you
Let's
go.
go. Let's go.
All
Hold on.
right. You've stepped in to the commercial break of another podcast.
Whoa. What's this like? Esther, do you only see 3 walls here? Because I think I only see 3 walls.
Eloy, I think if you pull back that curtain, there might be a 4th.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Whoa. That looks like a snail. Are we in someone's ear right now?
Wow, I hear dissonant whispers of wonderful information. I think one might be coming a Monday night.
Monday nights. Monday nights are usually pretty fun.
Yup, on my Stone of Far speech, I can see that on Monday nights, I'm going to be listening to Spooky Dice Bag.
Spooky Dice Bag. Isn't that the thing we do?
Yeah, Monday nights, Spooky Dice Bag.
We've got to get back to our podcast, but please join us every Monday for Spooky Dice Bag on your favorite podcast app.
Okay, so you've seen how the Union Jack, the Union flag, because I'll get into that too, is constructed.
Yes.
Yeah, they've put basically, like, if you were to like construct it like construction paper, you'd probably make the Scotland one first, like the St. Andrew's Cross. I guess you'd have a pretty dark blue for it. And then you would kind of paste on the St. Patrick's Cross bits on that. And then you would put the St. George's Cross over all of that in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said up top, there's one country, I think it's even styled as a country, that is part of the United Kingdom that is not represented on this flag. And you said it up top, but say it again.
It's Wales.
That is Wales. And it's not Wales with an H. I assume most people that are listening to a flag podcast have at least heard of Wales. Wales.
It's that little principality on the western side of Great Britain.
It is. Yeah, it's stylized as a, I think, country or constituent country at times or whatever. But do you have any idea what its flag looks like? And you can say if you do. You don't have to.
Yeah. We use a version of it and some of the stuff that I do around here. Yeah, it's just a dragon.
Right. Okay. So explain that one to the layperson.
Okay, so it's like, I don't know if you call it a proper field, but it's like white on the top, green on the bottom, pretty much cut in half, with a big red dragon prominently displayed. Almost looks like it's like standing on the grass of the green.
Oh, I never thought of it like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just noticed it.
I'm never gonna be able to see it different now.
It's just a dragon like yelling at the kids to get off of his lawn, and he's looking over at England like, dude, this is Wales. Get the fuck out of here.
Dude, it really is. I have not noticed the Clint Eastwood aspects of this dragon standing on his own lawn before. But I do really like that. He's even holding up like one foot or, claws or whatever, saying like, hey, back off.
Get off my lawn, dude.
He's got like the thorny, he's got a spiked tail and shit.
Yeah.
Pretty sharp claws, pretty sharp tongue, it looks like.
Yeah, pretty sharp tongue.
I will say kind of a bored expression in the face, though.
Well, yeah, but I don't know how old this flag is, and artistic styles change. So
I thought you were gonna say I don't know how old this dragon is. Like maybe he is
dude, maybe this dragon's
on death's door.
yeah, like a Gran Torino type situation where he just wants kids off his lawn.
First off, I think we have the episode title now at some point in there. But secondly, it is. It is such a the way he's lifting up the one paw and has the bored look is guys, just stop. Can you just not?
I'm just trying to take a nap and guard my gold. Get the fuck off my lawn, guys. Come on. England, you got most of the island. Scotland's usually cool with you, but whatever, man.
Yeah, right? Now seems like a good time to stop. Yeah.
I saw the Hadrian's Wall. It's cool, whatever. But just leave me alone.
God, that that's not the way I would have summed it up, but it looks like a dragon that just severely wants to be left alone.
Yeah.
Now that we've described it, and I'll put it in the show notes as well for the listeners. But do you have any like idea or like any kind of gauge on why it's not in the UK flag?
Probably because throwing a dragon on top of the Union flag would be too much red, all encompassing.
I mean, honestly,
I can just see like a Photoshop of this thing.
yeah, no. Well, if you go to r/vexillology, there are a few of them.
Oh, I'm sure they're there. But I'm just like I could totally see just that dragon sitting on top of it, like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm the dragon of Wales.
No, dude, honestly, I mean, so I get caught up a lot when I'm like researching this stuff and when I'm talking about it, whatever, with the like accepted reasons for a lot of stuff. And the accepted reason for this is that when England united with Scotland, it was already called the Kingdom of England and Wales because Wales had already been like subsumed or whatever, like had already kind of fallen into line with the English throne. And so that was the Kingdom of England and Wales, which was more often than not just called the Kingdom of England, even though it included Wales.
Well, Wales, I do know a little bit about the Anglo-Saxon like language and what Welsh means. Welsh is just Old Saxon for slave.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so like Walton is just literally means slave town.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like stuff like that.
You and I have talked off air some about this.
Yeah.
About the W and the G thing, like with Wales and Gaul and all those other things. But I did not know. Yeah, I didn't quite know that.
Yeah. So the Welsh, I believe, yeah, if I remember correctly, the Welsh were like the original inhabitants of Great Britain. And then
they were the
Anglos.
They were the Britons, right? Like the Britons.
Yeah, they were the Britons who never voted for King Arthur, and then the Anglo-Saxons came in and enslaved them, and so really the Welsh were the first colonized people of the Anglo-Saxons.
Yeah, no, fair.
I mean,
as far as I know,
of England.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, dude, it's like that. It's like that thing that every colonizer does too. That it's like, so you guys are called the Britons. Okay, cool. Hundreds of years later, we're gonna call this island Great Britain, even though we've killed most of you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
what is that?
Tennessee,
like
the state
Dakota?
that I live in, is not. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Dakota. Like, yeah. I mean, look around the U.S. and you're gonna find examples of this for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a classic colonizer move. So yeah, no, that tracks with everything that I know. Yeah, that's good to know. Did not quite know that little tidbit.
I'll find my source for you in a little bit after this call.
Oh sure, yeah, and
But,
it may show up in the show notes too, or well, if you find it, it will. Yeah,
I have it in like a book.
But yeah, what I was going into though was like, you know, when I like read these notes and like or do my notes and go through all this stuff and get ready for the episodes, I take a lot of things at face value. I'm like, okay, that means that. I mean, first off, because I've got a bit of information to get through, I'm like, okay, I need to know now about this one or that one. But secondly, I often fail to look at it from a design standpoint. And like, as much as, yes, it was the Kingdom of England and Wales, and then it merged with the Kingdom of Scotland, so you would, you know, kind of expect, you know, what you get from that. It still does strike me, and I don't know how much of this is true or rooted in fact, but it does strike me like this is a very hard flag to rope into the Union Jack or the Union flag.
Yeah,
like what do you do?
The dragon's
really?
just gonna take over everything.
The dragon is gonna be because everything else you have isn't. I don't know if I'm quite using the vexillology terms like correctly, but nothing else on this flag is charged, which means like I think generally means that it has something like a dragon or a bear or a lion or whatever on it.
Yeah.
So with everything else just being saltires and crosses on a field of blue or whatever, it's hard to bring something that's like, it's hard to like, all right, now it's charged with this as well. And like you said, yeah, the Welsh dragon would like kind of take over and dominate the flag. And they obviously like for political and whatever reasons can't have that.
No. And you also don't want the Welsh rising up for like independence or anything either.
No. Can't have that. Can't have that. So, yeah, no, but I do think the Welsh flag is, I don't know. I've always found it very interesting because There are a lot of
Yeah.
dragons on flags. I've never seen one that was quite this bored.
Yeah, he just wants you to leave him alone.
Yeah, just back off, man.
Get away.
Give this dude a shotgun.
Yeah, usually
Somebody
they're like
photoshopped
pissed,
that.
but this dragon just looks like he's talking.
I mean,
Like
more or
he's
less.
got his tongue out, his mouth is open, but he's not like baring teeth.
Although he's saying some spicy shit because he's literally got a barbed tongue.
I mean, he does have a barbed tongue, but yeah,
He's
I
got
mean,
some words for the English, I think.
I mean, England's on his yard.
Oh yeah, and has been
You know.
since way too long, in his opinion.
Yeah, they've been on his yard since like the 4th century CE. So it's just maybe they're I don't know.
Yeah, I just wish he was facing the other way because, like, I know back then they didn't they had maps that were pretty much north, south, east, west, facing the same directions as we do now. But yeah, if you were facing to the right, like as in like to the east, which is where England's border is.
Oh, maybe it's a political thing, and it's like England's the dragon.
Or maybe it's showing England its butt.
Yeah, or it's like
It could be that.
Well, it's got that big spike on its tail.
It
looks
could
pretty dangerous.
honestly be that. Yeah. Spike on the tongue, spike on the tail, dangerous on both ends.
Yeah, dude.
There. I don't know if that was already canon, but it is now.
I think we just rewrote 10,000 years of Welsh history on our podcast here about flags.
Yup. That's what I came here to do. So I'm glad I could.
Oh, good.
I'm glad I could do that for all the Welsh
Appropriating
people.
Welsh culture and
Go, Cymru, Cymraeg, whatever. Forget how to. Welsh in Welsh is like Cymraeg, which I'm not super comfortable with, but it's like
yeah.
I think it's pronounced better than that, but it's
yeah. I'm just gonna. What's
Cymraeg
the
or
dragon's
something.
name?
Ooh, the dragon's name. I actually did have that in one of my mini tabs that I have open here. The dragon's name. Oh, I don't think I have its name. I have who it was slain by.
Oh, Idregok.
Oh, you found it. Okay.
Yeah. Also known as the Dragon of Cadwallader.
Yeah, I think everyone. I don't think we need any notes for that.
Oh, I'm sorry. It literally translates to the Red Dragon. So that's
Oh, Idregok. Yeah. Okay.
Idregok. Yeah.
Sure.
Idregok. Yeah. The red. I mean, that's a very original name.
Yeah. I feel like as much as we feel like we might be pronouncing that like close to well, there's no way that it is.
No, there's all of our Welsh listeners are going to be writing angry letters
Oh yeah. Actually,
about our pronunciations, but also thanking us for rewriting their history.
Right. Yeah. As
I'm sure.
Yeah. Now it's showing its ass to England in the fun way. No, I mean like.
No, not in a fun way, like in an aggressive manner, because that tail's like ready to strike.
Yeah, true. The way that's fun for Wales, maybe not as fun for England.
Yeah, okay.
It's saying, "Hey, England, come eat my ass," but it's kind of like, hey, "This tail's
But
right here.
also,
This
I'm going
tail's
to
right
attack you. Yeah, dude.
You have no idea what's coming."
Don't worry about me. I only got 3 claws on the ground.
It's true. No, I think I know, like, and not to go on too much of a tangent here, but like, I know some country, like, I mean, me having studied as much French and things as I have, I know France does this. They have the Lion of Belfort. They have a few other monuments that face Germany that like they specifically calculated to face like Berlin or whatever the capital at the time was. That like
Sure.
this one is facing Germany because, you know, revanchist reasons and like Alsace-Lorraine, fuck you Germany type shit. I'm like,
Sure.
yeah, the
that
Welsh
makes
Dragon
sense.
could be, at least in our version, pretty close to that. Anyway, we've spent more time talking about the one that isn't actually on the Union flag.
Well, it needs some representation, Andy.
But I think it does, one, and I think two, it's just more fucking interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I want a dragon on my flag.
These crosses get pretty old pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I eventually make a flag for this show, there's a good chance it has a dragon on it.
Hell yeah.
Also, I did want to point out briefly for all the like flag nerds that listen to this, not just for fun, but for actual info, the Welsh one, the Northern Irish one, the Scottish one, and in fact the English one are all at the 3:5 ratio. So they're all in, you know, what's considered, or, you know, what's I guess like the most standard flag ratio, 3 feet on the hoist side by 5 feet. And I just think that it's really interesting that the UK chose to take all these 3-5 flags and say, you know what? No, that, but 1 to 2. We're going to take that. We love the idea. We love it, you guys.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
We're going to scrunch it a little bit like vertically.
Yeah.
All right. So we've gone through England. We've gone through Scotland. We've gone through Ireland/Northern Ireland. When it was put on the flag, it was all of Ireland. And we've gone through Wales. Is there any other parts of the UK proper, not far-flung colonies, not Australia, not New Zealand, not the US for that matter? Like, is there any other parts of the UK that you can think of?
No, I can't think of any other.
Okay, good. I was hoping that for once I had you on something.
No. Like
that you
like
couldn't
what?
think of.
No, I'm trying to think. Like
It's all good.
the Falklands.
Not that one either.
No.
Again,
Okay.
nothing far flung, which I would consider that. And I know that's a loosey goosey term, but so,
What is this?
so
This is.
for the listener, I just sent Kickass a picture of a flag, and I'm gonna need you to describe it for me before I do any of my own work here.
It is a red field.
Very good.
I want to say the ratio is closer to a 2-1 than a 3-5.
Also very
I'm
good.
not-
It is
Not
1-2.
sure.
No,
Okay,
you're
1-2.
spot on.
And it's got a whole bunch of. Are those armored like knight legs? It's got 3 armored knight legs with cowboy spurs, making like a wheel, like they're all running to the left in some sort of.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you can.
I'm familiar with the mythological creature, the unipod,
Okay.
but you've probably seen it on Monty Python. It's just a giant foot with eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never seen a tripod until you start talking about cameras. But
Yeah. I mean,
what is this?
you pretty much got you got spot on, like, with all of that, except for the one key word that you would never have guessed, because I think it comes from Greek. But this is not this flag, but the center image is called a triskelion.
A triskele. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So now everybody.
Now everybody knows exactly what it looks like, and they don't need my bullshit description.
Exactly. So all the listeners, as soon as I said triskelion, they cued in that this is in fact the flag of the Isle of Man.
Is that where men come from?
I mean, you would think, right? Like, the Isle of Man sounds like just a nice place to meet some hunky dudes.
Sounds like an origin story of something.
Yeah, the Isle of Man does sound like something from like Paradise Lost, or like from the Bible generally, or something like that.
Yeah,
I know
like,
Paradise Lost is in the Bible.
Like
for
that's where the
listeners.
Garden of Eden is, or so I don't know.
Yeah. Nope. Nope. Nothing nearly as interesting as that.
Okay.
But the Isle of Man, so I know that you know a little bit about Norse, like Old Norse, Viking history,
Sure.
things like that, heritage, things like that.
Yeah.
So knowing that you know a lot about that, the Isle of Man, do you have any idea like geographically where it is? I mean, other than obviously it's near Great Britain and Ireland.
Yeah, I would imagine it's like near the UK. Is it? I want it like south. You got like the English Channel there. Is it to the northeast maybe, like a little bit off of Scotland?
It's honestly, it's smack dab in between the island of Great Britain and the island of Ireland.
Oh,
So it's like if you were to take a boat,
I'm on the opposite end. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you were to take a boat from, I think probably Scotland, like Inverness or something, to somewhere in Northern Ireland, because it is a little bit north.
Sure.
You would hit the Isle of Man. And what it used to be was part of what was it called? The Kingdom of the Isles, I believe. Yes, the Kingdom of the Isles, which
Isle,
dates
okay.
back to some Norwegian / just Norse or whatever writ large kingdom, which was the Outer Hebrides. I'm not sure how they're pronounced, to be honest, but they're the islands that are off the western coast of Scotland that I think a lot of Scotch comes from. I'm not really sure. And the Isle of Man is like just south of kind of that, but it was part of the same kingdom.
Okay.
And then they had the some other, that was the Kingdom of the Isles. I forget what the other one was called, at least in English. The translation was like Northern Isles, and that was the Orkneys and Shetlands. So they had Kingdom of
I know the Shetlands, yeah.
Yeah, the Northern Isles were the Orkneys and Shetlands, and then the Kingdom of the Isles, or Suthreyar. I'm pronouncing this very badly, but the Southern Islands were like the Inner Outer Hebrides and the Isle of Man. And so yeah, basically it's halfway between England and Ireland, or England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. And it's just a kind of island that hangs out there that nobody ever really thinks about. And so part of the reason that I wanted to bring it up on this is, one, because it never gets thought about or talked about, for one thing. But also because, sorry, I'm trying to click over to it now. So yeah, it's everyone always forgets about the Isle of Man, but it is technically a island nation and self-governing British Crown dependency in the Irish Sea between Great Britain and Ireland. The head of state, Queen Elizabeth II, holds the title Lord of Man, even though she's a lady. I guess they don't have Lady of Man titles. I think it'd be awesome to be Lady of Man.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, yeah.
And they're represented by a lieutenant governor, and the UK is responsible for their military defense. So basically, they're a fairly integral part of the UK. It's just not one that anybody ever thinks about. And I was like, if I can stump Kick-Ass anywhere on any of these, it's gonna be this one. Because, you've known all the other ones.
Yeah.
But I think it's a very cool flag, too. It's just, Triskelion. I'm sure Skelly has something to do in Greek with legs or something, or feet. But, I mean, it's pretty much like you said. They look armored, and they look like they have little, cowboy almost spurs at the bottom of them.
Like spurs, and it looks like they're, trying to turn counterclockwise.
Right. Like, it almost, you could see this thing running if it started to move.
Yeah.
In a horrifying,
That's just, I don't even want that's making me uncomfortable just thinking about. So what I'm thinking, all right, so we got the is it the Triskelion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got the three legs of the dragon on the Welsh flag. If you take that middle one and you flip it, right? You flip it.
Okay.
Or no, you don't even have to flip it. You can just keep it in the same orientation. I don't know. It's bent weird. So you flip it, and then you just make another one, and you just copy and paste it, but you have it go in a weird triangle like that. We could totally do something and we can redesign the Union flag for the British so that they include the Welsh and the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
No, dude.
That's all I'm saying.
No, that's representation matters.
I mean, the United States won a war against them twice. So back 200 years ago or whatever. So I think that we get to redesign their flag. I think that's how that works, right?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that was in the fine print of the treaty.
Is that's how wars work? You can redesign people's flags?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
From what I understand, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is
I know we're friends and stuff now. We've been friends for a while and stuff.
Come on, give us a crack at the flag.
Yeah, let us redesign this flag.
Would we have to let them redo ours as well?
Sure. Yeah. Well, they didn't win a war against us, though.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
flag redesign goes to the victors, as they say.
I think that should be in every treaty.
I think that's a common expression, from what I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, no, that would be, and then just slap it right in the middle of the Union Jack and call it a day.
Yeah.
I know I keep calling it the Union flag instead of the Union Jack, and I keep hinting at wording around this. I don't know how
Okay.
much time I specifically have to get into that because we've run through most of the interesting parts that I actually wanted to get to.
Okay.
But
No, but like, why is it called? Why are you saying? I've just been picking up on you saying the Union flag, and that's why I've been saying it. But
I know I've said it a lot. It seems like I'm almost like, daring the listener to get to the end of the episode so that I talk about it.
are you foreshadowing?
Dun, dun, dun. I didn't intend to, but I guess I was. I mean, I intended to, and I was.
Of course, yes.
So the Union Jack, the term Union Jack has like a somewhat fraught history. There are even historians that disagree with each other, like contemporaneous historians that disagree with each other on this. But what
Okay.
used to be known as a jack was used to describe a small flag flown from the mast mounted at the end of the bowsprit. And I'm quoting from flaginstitute.org here, so I'm not just pulling this out of nowhere. And by 1627, a small version of the Union flag, which was later described as the Jack or Jack flag or the King's Jack, seems to have flown commonly in this position. And by 1674, 50-ish years later, this flag was described formally as His Majesty's Jack, and in common usage as the Union Jack. So basically what you had was these, navies at the time flew flags of their home countries, but they weren't necessarily the same flag as their home country, but it was something that would identify you. And
Sure.
It's weird because again, historians disagree on this because there's the jack staff, which is I believe the furthest toward the front of the boat staff that a flag can actually fly from. And I don't know
Yep.
what the other ones are called, but typically the whatever was flying from there was called the jack of the ship. And once they adopted this flag, albeit without the red Ireland parts, it was just the St. George's over the St. Andrews for a long time. Which actually, if you look at I know I'm going on another tangent here, but if you look at any of the art or anything from the Revolutionary War period, we're
Sure,
all
yeah.
fighting against British that have this flag. It doesn't have the red on the diagonals. It only has white on diagonals. And it's because they hadn't absorbed Ireland or enough of Ireland that they were happy with yet. Anyway.
Oh.
So originally it was just the flag that they were flying from that position. And then eventually it came to just be the Union flag that was the Jack just became the Union Jack. And that's why we all call it the Union Jack nowadays. And there are still scholars that say oh, you shouldn't call it that or whatever. They're mostly shouted down, it seems like, because it seems like I studied linguistics, and for some context, it's however people are actually speaking is the way that you need to study speech. So it's very similar with this. It's whenever people are actually calling it, that's what we need to kind of at least, do more research. I don't know. That's what we need to kind of run with to a point.
No, I got you.
Because it's just commonplace terms.
Language evolves with time and
Yeah, it evolves, it changes.
Cultures.
Yeah, so something that meant this 500 years ago doesn't anymore, etc.
yeah.
So so that's why we call it the Union Jack, is it started off as a naval jack. I mean, for lack of any other word. And then from being His Majesty's Jack and the Union flag and all these other terms kind of just all melded into one, and now it was the Union Jack. And now if you say Union Jack anywhere in the world, people know what that means.
Yeah. That's true.
Right. So, but what I've just copied and pasted into the chat for you, do you have any idea what this is maybe?
At first glance, it looks like the blue field with all the stars on it from the American flag.
Yeah, it's exactly that.
Oh, okay.
And what it's called, though, is the Union Jack. It is the Jack, as in the naval flag, the frontmost ast. Is ast the front of a ship? Aft.
Aft. Yeah.
I don't know.
Aft.
Words.
Aft.
It's ast. I think I was thinking of asp. I've been doing a lot of crosswords, and asp is Cleopatra's snake or whatever.
Oh, sure.
Anyway, on the aftmost hoist that you can raise a flag on, this is what's flown on United States ships. So in its early history, and this flag, if you want to describe, oh well, you already did describe it. It's basically the canton part, like the upper left part of the current U.S. flag, just the stars,
Yeah.
no stripes.
There's no stripes on. It's just blue with, I'm gonna guess, 50 white stars,
Mm-hmm.
5 pointed.
Yeah, and in its beginning, this was called the Union Jack as well. So,
Aha.
there used to be a lot of confusion around Union Jack. I think the British pretty much like sealed the deal on like getting the, you know, the naming and like getting that like out there in the world and everything so that everyone knows, oh, the Union Jack, that's the British flag.
Oh yeah, it's the British. Yeah. Yeah, that they got the branding right.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I just wanted a note to the listener that it didn't used to always, it wasn't always that way. Especially because they were the Union of England and Scotland. Although actually, I don't know if they stylized themselves as much or as such. But United States obviously had some kind of a stranglehold on the word Union. So when we came up with this
and
Naval
then
Jack,
like the Civil War, the North was called the Union.
So yeah, that's where that comes from. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of the Union flag. What we commonly call the Union Jack is that they took a flag, they overlaid another flag on top of it, then once they got Ireland, put another flag on top of that, and they were like, hey, let's just keep combining forever. Except for Wales.
Let's just keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
No Wales.
No
Isle
Isle
of Man.
Yeah.
And I think our Discord group should really start like a campaign to the British government, like, hey, Queen Elizabeth, you've been there like for what, 70 years now?
Yeah, it's about time to get
It's about time you enact this.
some Manx representation. Also, that's what people from the Isle of Man are called, Manx, M-A-N-X.
Manx. Some Welsh and Manx representation.
I wish my demonym ended in an X.
Yeah.
That's super fucking cool. But I mean,
Manx.
yeah, right?
Like,
It is about time for us to wrap up. I did want to pose a philosophical question to you as we wrap up.
sure.
Which doesn't seem fair, but the only question that I have, and it's not a question for you or maybe one that you can answer. It's not maybe even meant to be answered, but I am curious, just to all the listeners, to you, to everyone, what happens when one of these Scottish referendums for independence succeeds?
Ooh.
You know, what happens to the flag? Because when they lost most of Ireland and just kept the northern part, and I said I would get into this and didn't as well, but they basically kept the red part of the X for cost reasons. Because the flag was up everywhere, they didn't want to have to redesign it and go back to the old one that was just a white X in the background. So they were like, fuck it, we still own Northern Ireland, we're going to keep the red part back there. But what happens realistically, and to your mind anyway, when they lose Scotland, which I think is a realistic possibility in the next 20 or so years?
Like, all that blue goes away, but the white would probably stay, because, like, or maybe it just, you get like just a red cross and red X, like, together on a white field.
Yeah.
If Northern Ireland decides to stay.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
like,
even that's an if. I mean, yeah. My gut feeling on that is that they will stay longer than Scotland does, but not much longer.
Well, what if you have the St. George's Cross, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the St. George's Cross, and then you have the green and white of Wales. Like, you just, I mean, I really want the dragon to be there, but like just the.
Okay, so
like if it's like the field is half green, half white, but you have St. George's Cross.
so the England flag now, but the bottom is green.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and a dragon, or you could keep the dragon, but have you ever seen the New England flag?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the reverse St. George, where you got the red and white switched, and there's like a pine tree in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if you just put the dragon in the corner?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
So it's like half white, half green.
so like top.
St. George's Cross,
Yeah, I like that.
and then like the dragon's in the corner.
Top left, right? Like Canton.
Top left. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I could totally see that. Actually, depending on the shade of green, that might not even look that bad. I'm trying to like visualize it based on the image that's like just the St. George's cross that's up on my screen right now.
Yeah.
I could kind of see it. I mean, the Welsh dragon is that same color red, so we know that that red and green aren't terrible together.
Yeah.
See green on the bottom, Welsh flag or Welsh dragon in the canton. Maybe he's faced the other way. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe he's still. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was a fun thought experiment because I think that realistically, like, and I don't go too much into like global politics on this show, but I think realistically, Scotland does leave the UK in the next 20, 30 years or so.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it's like I don't see Northern Ireland just had like their elections, and basically the IRA is, or the what became of the IRA, like got a whole shitload of seats.
Yeah, we were in
So-
Ireland, a few of us in like 2018, and they were talking about Brexit. Like the people that the local Irish people were talking about Brexit,
Yeah.
and they were talking about the hard border versus soft border up between the Republic and Northern Ireland and things like that, and how either way it wasn't ideal, but the soft border's better, but it's like there's no real good way to do it. And yeah, Northern Ireland I think voted overwhelmingly to stay or to remain as well. So yeah, there's gonna be some
shit going on.
there could be some changes in the country, and I think it's
Yeah.
going to be interesting to see if those changes are reflected in the flag, or if the flag has like outgrown, I guess that's a good way to put it, like outgrown what it used to represent, and now it just represents England. Because like mostly when you think of the flag, you think of London, you think of, I'm not saying everybody does, but you think of
but, like,
London, the British
yeah.
Empire, which was centered in London. You think of
The Beatles,
England, the Beatles,
like-
Beatlemania,
yeah.
the British invasion, all that
Yeah.
stuff, which was mostly English. I'm sure there were some Scottish bands thrown in there, but like, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it, or don't do with it, if that's what they choose to do. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, I just wanted to end the episode on a fucking quiz. Apparently, just like, hey, what's gonna happen with this? And I need only correct answers.
We need your flag design sent to P.O. Box.
Yes, yeah. No, hey, but I mean, we're wrapping up, but like, yeah, all those of you who are listening, do join the Discord. We've got some good channels in there for flag design, things like that. I know, obviously there's Reddit, Vexillology, and places like that too, which I'm on fairly often, believe me. But yeah, hop in our Discord. It's flagged.rocks, and you can just hop right in, and there's channels in there. Let us know, like, hey, what's your idea that this flag may look like after that happens, or after Northern Ireland leaves, or some weird scenario that you can come up with in your head. I mean, help us design a flag for the show. I'm decent at talking about them, but I'm not great at designing them. So, I need help there too. So yeah, join the Discord. You can go to flagged.rocks for that. And I guess I seamlessly kind of went into plugs. I didn't mean to, but I'll get a few of mine out of the way, and then Kickass, you can do yours. But yeah, join us there at the Discord, and follow us on Instagram at flagged4, the number 4, content, and Twitter at the same handle. I'm fairly active on both, and you can follow my personal at Darth Plato, DarthPlayDoh. I think that's pretty much all I had to plug, other than keep giving us all the support that you guys honestly have been giving us a lot of support. Keep that up. Tell your friends about the podcast. If any of them are Vex heads, or even like halfway to Vex heads, let them know that, hey, there's a flag podcast out there that updates more often than every 5 months, like some of the other ones do. And no shade on them.
We have a schedule.
Because yeah, yeah, exactly. Those other ones are great too. Those other ones are probably more informative than ours, but I like to have a lot of fun on this one, which I have done today with my guest, Kickassatron. Speaking of, what would you like to plug?
Oh yeah, you can find me basically in all the different socials: Twitter, Tumblr, even I guess Facebook. I don't use it much, but you can find me. Just search for Kickassatron on all of those. I'm also the DM of Spooky Dice Bag, which is a D&D real play podcast that airs on, well, not airs, I guess, releases on Mondays. And you can check that out. We got a few episodes up. We got one bonus episode with some like insight into some of the characters like psyches and the way that they're looking at the world that I think is a lot of fun, and we have a lot of fun with that, and it's a pretty good time. Yeah, so check us out.
Yeah, no, Spooky Dice Bag is, as a listener, it is a lot of fun to, I mean, honestly, just to kind of like go through the journey with you guys. You don't have to know anything about D&D to really go through it. It may help. I can't even really decide if it does or not because I don't know a ton about D&D myself, but as a listener, I've just enjoyed listening to the shit that you guys get up to. Because it's kind of like this podcast. It's like, you know, not quite safe for work. It's like you guys take some liberties with things and like play around with the format a little bit. And I think it's a ton of fun. And I think all of our listeners, if you like this show, I think you would enjoy that too. You've also heard an ad for it on this show, just as a...
Yeah, we may or may not have portaled in earlier.
Behind the scenes, yeah.
On accident.
Right, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yours truly will be on an episode coming up in the next, I don't know exactly how long, but I may or may not play a character in there at some point. So, you know, give it a listen for that, and just honestly give a listen. Start at the beginning. Give a listen just in general.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one you want to start from, like episode 1, because it's like we kind of run it as like an ongoing.
Yeah, it's a campaign
endless story.
Yeah. Or yeah. Story.
Yeah, it's like it's gonna be like a 300-hour story by the time we're done.
Right. So get in now.
Yeah, get in now. Or just be ready to listen to like Lord of the Rings 600 times.
Yeah, or less, as long as that is. And yeah, I think that's pretty much got us. So go listen to Spooky Dice Bag. Go follow Kickassatron and at Spooky Dice Bag on the social medias. Follow us at flagged4 content. And I still haven't come up with that punchy outro that I've been wanting to write. So until next time, this podcast has been Flagged for Content. Thanks for listening, y'all.